Welcome into the test world, and I wanted to show you the idea I have for the skeleton farm. So this is the basic idea. I've Frankensteined a couple of things. So in Zedtek's Blaze farm, he's got a field of hoppers to collect the mobs that drop. So the mobs fall down and they zip them all in. And then I can put a, he's got individual cells of trident killers on each column, but I think I want to work them all down into one spot to kill them into one trident killer. So each row will then dump in down to a collector that throws them into a trident killer. So this is the idea I have for the spawning spots. So in each one of these squares, this is still a valid spawn spot, but the sheer fact that there's a piece of glass at the head height will automatically kick the mob off, and in this case a skeleton, and that's the north direction, and this is the east. It's going to kick them off to the east every time. So as I'm clicking on that spot for them to spawn, they'll get kicked off, and then each row gets washed off to the same spot. So the only thing I have to worry about is keeping this inside of the spawning sphere of my AFK spot. And I can go up as high as I can go, and as low as I can go, and as wide as I can go. The other thing I have to worry about is how far you can drop a mob before they break. So I've gone up, every alternating number is, so blue is odd, so red is even, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26 blocks. So at 26, the skeleton dies. But at 25, he stays alive. Now the other thing I can do is I could put come on guys, get out of here. There. So I could put a hay bale at their feet. And then I believe when I get back up here at the top at 26, they should still be alive. So how far up can I go with a hay bale? So this was 26. At 28, do they still live? Yes. There's 30. 2 and 4. Is 34 still live? So this is already, I can tell, past the size I planned on making it. Oh wow. So that would mean if instead of using these redstone blocks, I would have to use hay and then power the hay with some kind of redstone device. So let's get back into the other world, the main world, and measure how much space I have to worry about. I think I'm just going to go with the redstone, to be honest with you, and stay at the 25 blocks. 25 divided by 2 by 3 gives me 15 rows. Yeah, that's more than lots. But yeah, let's get into the world and actually make this. And we're back on the realm, or the server here, the Epoch, and I'm trying to get some stuff together to make this farm. So I've got a bunch of glass to encase it in, another shulker box. And then I'm pretty well actually out of redstone, so I'm going to have to go mining specifically for redstone here very shortly. But I think 2 stacks of blocks should be more than enough for activator rails to get them going. I've got a shulker of iron that I traded with Ztech with for gold, so he can run his bartering farm. And I just brought along my redstone box, so I should be able to make the platform and then the trident killer. The other thing that's really come apparent is I'm sick of these cows running everywhere. I'm going to change this ground out for moss here as soon as I get this skeleton farm running and I have bones that I can just bone meal it. So last weekend, I believe, I got most of the digging done here in the nether. I'm not sure if I've showed this off yet or not, but now it's done straight from the ground up to the ceiling. I've still got like 2 blocks I could possibly dig out up here if I need another layer. And I still have some blocks, some glass to place to finish the perimeter. But it's pretty well dug out as far as I need it to go. Now, what I have to think about in the future too is I still want to make a ghast farm. So where am I going to place a ghast farm and a skeleton farm to where they don't interrupt with each other? So I think this is the north direction going this way. So I need my mine carts to activate and dump that way. So I think I'm going to make the skeleton farm over here and then the trident killer on that direction. So then what I'd have to do when I go to make a ghast farm is I think it'll be over in this area. So what I'll have to do is then, like, this will be the AFK spot for the skeleton farm, but I'll have to make the AFK spot for the ghast farm over this direction another like 25 blocks, so that when I'm here, that farm's out of distance. So I'll have to dig that direction out another. So, but maybe I'll just do that with TNT and just carpet bomb it all out. But yeah, that will be the future. Oh, look at it, it works already. That'll be the future area of the ghast farm on that side. And again, like, eventually this will all be decorated, so you won't see any of it anyways, hopefully. So where are we going to make this? Oh, get that back. Where are we going to make this skeleton farm? So let's put it back to the spawning area. And I want, as we saw, 25 blocks. Or no more than 25 blocks. So I want it to be in this area. So I'm thinking from about where that quartz is, as far as I need to be in that direction. Actually, let's not make it that low, because we're going to be outside. Let's just keep it in this kind of, the 3 bands of this circle. So I can't put scaffolding on glass, can I? Yeah, I can. I always thought you couldn't put scaffolding on glass. So that puts it right about there, which the ceiling being at 110 is about 20 blocks a drop. Yeah, so if this is my outside edge, and then the inside edge is the green, and I just make a strip back and forth this way. Is this where I want it to be though? This is like 117. Surely this has to be enough spawning spots, because this will put me here for the floor, here for the minecarts. So that'd be like 96. There's 20. 20, it's a 20 divided by 3 gives me 18. It gives me about 8 blocks of 8 spawning layers. Oh, that should be more than enough, because I'm gonna have, yeah, that's way big. So let me get this platform in place, and we'll come back and see the next step. Well, I didn't want to get too far without a little status update, so I've got like the square started and a trident killer, and it's inside of the bounding box. It's a little bit past, so I do have a chance of having some mobs kind of despawn at the risk of making it large enough to have enough enemies. So down in this bottom corner is just a bit past the despawn range. In this bottom corner, you can see that one little corner right there. So it's possible, I guess, if they fall down here, that they despawn. So if I can get out, I'm not sure I can get out of here. Let's go turn this off so I can. That's the one thing about this armor stand mod, is I can't see a damn thing that I'm doing. Anyway, so yeah, it's inside. Let's turn this off, leave it there. So that's the size of the platform. It gives me 7 rows. Like an Excel spreadsheet, I've got 7 rows, and I should have 8 columns. Activator rails in each row, and then a half slab just to keep the minecart in space from rolling around. And then where these half slabs are will be where the spawning platforms are for the mobs. And that will be the next step. And then I've got a little trident killer. It's just a simple box standard power rails in the corners. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little redstone line from here out to the AFK spot. And I think the AFK spot will be like a pressure switch, or a pressure plate. So as I stand on it, it'll activate this, and otherwise the farm will be off. The other thing I have to get, which I don't have, is I need a skulk catalyst to eat all the EXP. I don't have one. I've only got the one that I put in my skulk farm, and I've not explored another ancient city. So I have to go get an ancient city for the skulk to get that in there, and then to get storage, because this should get a lot of mobs, and it's going to generate a lot of armor and arrows and bows that I'll have to get rid of and dispose. So there's no point in having just double chests down there for bones, because it'll fill up so quick. And here's the underneath of the farm, and so what you kind of see is the blocks all have switches or controllers on the bottom to activate them, give them power. So it's kind of a pain to get those all in place underneath, but then it activates all of the mine carts, the activator rails, to jiggle them and get them forward. So I will then get all of the mine carts in here and storage first before I put the platforms in. But the platform is just literally going to be a row of solid blocks starting here the whole way across, a dead space, and then a row of glass. And that's it. That's the whole farm done. I want to try to make sure that it's boxed in just in case I get gas spawns. I'm not sure that I will get gas spawns, but if I do, I don't want them to get out and blow stuff up. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole farm. Just build a box and jiggle all the skeletons down. So the idea is to get these skeletons to spawn as quick as possible. They automatically get forced out of where they are into these minecarts, which is the fastest way to get them into a trident killer and get them to die as quick as possible and get replaced as quick as possible. So aside from like a portal farm, I'm not sure if there's any quicker way of doing it. But until I get this up and running, I haven't seen this farm made anywhere else. So until this is up and running, I won't really know. So we'll get minecarts in, and get a couple layers in, and get storage done. I was just about to put the storage system into this new farm when I started to realize the major drawback. I've got that set now to frames, and you can watch in the background as I focus in on all the minecarts. My frames are dropping really bad. So this might just be too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to put the storage in, but as I make the farm, I'm just going to do it one row at a time and see if I'm getting enough mob. Like, it might be that you just have it so big that you're not getting any more. So what I might be able to do is come back and like just straight up remove half of it. If that makes any sense, like just use these first 4 rows and then maybe like remove the last 3. I'm thinking maybe I just made this farm way too big, to be honest with you. But let's get this storage system put in place here and get this rolling. Well, I got the auto sorting storage in place. It's kind of tight here to see. I got all this extra space and I get everything crammed in one little spot. But I've got 5 sorters all sorted for bones, and then I've got the overflow going into a dropper here into lava. So whatever it doesn't catch in these 5 chests will get just burnt, whether it be bones or whatever it is. Probably all arrows and bows. I can easily just expand this straight down too, so I could make basically 1,000,000 storage here, no big deal. I've got a feeling this will be much more than I need for any length of AFK. I don't know. I'm going to get a couple layers in because I'm quickly running out of glass. I'm using all this glass to decorate with, and I mean, I've blown through another 2 shulkers of white glass. But let's get a couple of these layers in. Yeah, the lag's a bit much. Let's get a couple of layers in as I fly in circles here. And get an idea how this is going to go. So I want to start over here. We're going to go with a layer. It might as well be right there. Bum, bum, bum. I'm just doing this so I can get up. There. So here's the idea: is this is the spawn, and quite likely they'll start to spawn on the edge as I get to the far end because I'm past the safe area here. But it is what it is. And then we're going to go with a layer of glass and get rid of that spacer. This. There. And that's pretty much it. They should spawn with their head in glass and automatically get thrown to the side. Well, I've got some layers on, so let's run it for a little while and see how it works. Is the trident killer turned on? Let's throw the burner on. There should be nothing in the chest, right? Ooh. Lag's a bit heavy. So I've got 4 rows in, columns all the way up to the top. Frames are getting bad, so that's probably the end of it. Let's hold on to a sword and see if we see any guys spawning in down there. Surely isn't as quick as I thought it was going. Oh, there's some there now. Okay. Well, if they keep pouring in like that, it shouldn't be too bad. Guy's standing on top of that guy must be just immune to damage. Or maybe the trident killer is too far away. It's very strange. Anyway, let's run it for a little while. Let's give her a little test and see how it goes. So first impressions are, when it's working well. When they're spawning, they seem to be spawning in like really quick. Now I haven't checked the rates. I'm just hopping down here now. But I'm thinking is that I need to increase the amount of spawning space. And oh yeah, I didn't put a shriek or a skull catalyst down here yet. And it's still spitting stuff out. So let's see. None in there. None in there. Did I set these up wrong? Have I been burning everything? Anyway, I'll figure that out. So about 15 minutes there from the timeline you saw. So multiply that by 4 gives you about a double chest an hour. I guess that's not bad. I was thinking there would be a lot more. Very strange. I'm thinking, do I have these all? Why is it not picking them up? Anyway, I'm going to add the rest of the rows on, and we'll go from there. It's maybe not the prettiest yet, but I added a little redstone jaggedy line down here to turn the trident killer on and off. So basically I could stay up here in AFK and control it from here. And I've put the extra rows on to see if the rates are any better. and already it looks like they're starting to pile in. So we'll go another 15 minutes and see if I can get more than 9 stacks. So second rate test is actually maybe a little bit less. I want to say there was a stack and then a couple bones last time. So for some reason, like I thought, putting in more rows actually made the farm less productive. So I think I can get rid of like at least 2 of these rows. Because I saw it in the replay. I don't think I'm going to show it on camera, but I was seeing skeletons like over here come down and then just disappear and never make it into the actual trident killer. So I don't know if maybe they're despawning in that one little area that I thought they might. It's kind of Murphy's Law. So I think we'll just straight up get rid of these couple of rows. And then I could maybe get rid of 2 rows of these minecarts and get the lag down a little bit. But that's enough of skeletons for now. Oh yeah, I get the skull catalyst in before I put buttons in. And that's spread everywhere. Yeah, that's enough skeleton nonsense for now. Let's go to the community area and start in on my big gherkin. Well, I've gone through all the dirt I had. That's all I want to use for now because I want something very easy to take back down because this is just temporary. But I'm pretty happy with the shape of it. The scale, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's too big. I mean, it's supposed to be a skyscraper and that's an apartment, but like, I don't know if it's too big. Maybe, I'm not the best at doing like curved shapes. This curve I'm happy with, but these lines probably shouldn't be like that. Like, they should probably narrow in as it goes up. But that third dimension in building is, I find it very hard to figure out. But this is just the rough outside anyways. So the next step is something it's in my head, it makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense in reality. I'm gonna go with light gray, I think. And then I need some glass, and I don't think that stoic had very much glass here. And none of it's dyed. I think there's some dyes here somewhere. Yeah, before I dye a whole lot, maybe I'll mock it up in creative first, because you can't undo glass. But I can tell you the gist of it. So let's get to a flat side. Let's go over here. That's kind of close. The gist of what I can tell is, yes, the actual building is flat or sheer on the outside, but it's a whole bunch of shape. It's a whole bunch of angular lines. So assuming that this is the ground, and the other thing I have to do is I have to figure out exactly where, do I want them centered. But anyways, there's then going to be corresponding lines, and then I have to figure out, do I want a 4 or a 5? 1, 2, 3. What I have to kind of figure out is where these all match up when they come around corners. So it'll be this shape the whole way up, but then these will be filled with colored glass that kind of ribbon up on the angles. So like this one would be like maybe clear, where this one is like a light gray, and then one that's like a darker blue. And if I can show you the image from online, it'll make sense. The other thing is what I noticed, and I think this whole thing has to actually just technically shift over one block. Yeah, I'm not going to leave that off, but this is the idea. And then the actual main entrance, from what I can tell from pictures, is just the dead space in between some of these is the way in. And maybe the scale and scope of it's a bit different in real life. But so like these are, say, glass. I don't really have any blocks, but say these dirt it's glass to here. But the way in and out is just through the dead space in these. These are the structural behind the glass, structure behind the glass. So yeah, I think that's going to look cool by the time it gets that big. Now the other thing I have to do is, as these structures go up and around, when they get up into the dome, where the dome gets smaller, it's going to be quite hard to accurately do that up here. So if these triangles are coming up here, they're going to have to get smaller and smaller as they reach up to the center. And then I believe the center is open. I'll have to go do some more research exactly too. I believe I saw like a restaurant terraced at the top of it. But yeah, that's the next step, is to layer in these girders, I think I would call them, structure. And I'll just do the straight 1 by 1 block. I had it in my mind. I wasn't sure if I was going to do like a 3 by 3 square inside or one smaller, but I think one smaller just wouldn't make sense. It's going to be like 90% concrete. If anything, it should be bigger. It should be 4 instead of 3 on square. But that's going to be quite large. No, I think I like this. So I think these all have to be over by 1. And then we'll I'll have to go get some more. I'll probably just steal some sand from my shop to get some glass over here for everybody and get things rolling. So I don't know how much will get done this week. Again, this is going to take me all month. Step 1 is to get this exterior done, and then I can start moving into the interior. I'm foreseeing like maybe every 15 blocks being a layer. But that being said, is there'll be a dead space between like the shell of the glass to the interior, and the interior will be all kind of like square shapes, not round. And because it's Minecraft, it's not going to be exactly to scale. Oh look, I have a mob farm in here. Hey. Yeah, because this is Minecraft, probably half the space is going to be taken up with a staircase of some sort. And I'll just throw a couple offices in, and then a restaurant at the top. But I want to get the glass in so that it kind of brightens up and it's not quite the mob farm. And unfortunately, I have used up all of my fuel for making furnaces work, to make glass for my skeleton farm. So I don't know how far I can get on this, because I'm going to have to go gather resources just in order to make the glass anyways. Oh, and actually, before I do any of that, I better kind of terraform the ground because I just kind of squared this off for now. I just have to decide, like, is this layer 1, or is that layer 1, or is that layer, like, before I start laying this all out. And then actually, I think I'm fine with this being flat. And then what I might have to do is, where this purple isn't mine, but maybe I can, like, level these to each other. Down back here will have to be some sort of retaining wall. I'm not going to shear this whole mountain down. But what I might do is kind of do like an angular retaining wall in through here. Where this is round, maybe this can be like a diamond shape or triangle or something. And then I have to even out these two here. So there's still lots of digging to do. Because that's another 5 block. I mean, this is a lot. This was a lot of digging to start with. So if that is the level up front, yeah, I think this is going to be, it's fine here. I can just start here, I can lay out the concrete and go find some coal somewhere. The other thing is, as I brought, there's a shulker box over there, that blue one is full of scaffolding, so I can get, maybe I can get the grid work set up for this first layer, just to get an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this quarter, or this half, and I want to get some of these concrete out. So where's center? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, center. And that should work out quite symmetrically, actually. Yeah, you know what? I think I like that. It is going to leave for some weird kind of dead spaces that I'll have to, like, figure out as I go. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Let me get this opened up so we can get some light in. And get some of this dirt. I actually need this dirt for another project. So place it and tear it down and place it again. Let me cut. I'll put some concrete out for a little bit and see what it looks like. So quick side note. This is something that gets me excited. So I started here dead center on this quarter and did my pattern. And as I started coming around, I started to think, well, geez, this isn't going to work out evenly because I just picked a randomly sized circle. And then this side is completely opposite, where the center of the X was here on the other side, now it's the corner. But I didn't clue in, so as I travel around, this side is exactly the same as that side, which in turn means this pattern fits exactly the whole way around. And that's just random chance. I mean, if I had picked a different size, maybe mathematically it works, I don't know. I'm not a genius. I'm not a math guy. All I know is I randomly picked a 5 by 5 and I randomly picked a 38 circumference circle, and for some reason the pattern fits. So cool. I've quickly realizing that this is not going to be a whole lot of fun to get this pattern up the whole way. But it's kind of like it's got its own little fun rhythm to it. For now, it's just going to look like a whole bunch of diamonds. And maybe I just come and fill the glass in afterwards. But yeah, No, I'll get up to, hopefully I'll try to get up to there. Yeah, we'll try to get up to there for now. So I realize things are looking kind of dirty right now. But yeah, it's actually really challenging to get this round shape to have a pattern on it, especially when it changes size from like 38 to 39 circumference or 40 circumference to step it out. It's really hard to maintain. And then when you're up and down scaffolding trying to get this pattern to be consistent, it's hard. Like, see, like right there, it's very hard to get what you do with that dead space between the patterns. So like that's the edge of the square, so that dirt block would be the edge. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. I kind of wish now that this whole thing had been like 2 blocks back farther from the road, but it is what it is. It'll be kind of close. I've gotten, a fair amount of ways around. I guess I should keep wrapping it. Yeah, I'll get the whole bottom half done and we'll go from there. Well, I've got the grid in part of the way up, started around, and some of the glass in, and I'm starting to actually really like I really like it. I wish I could show you the images I've seen as to the real building. I mean, the real building has got a much more pleasant shape than this. But in my mind, it's starting to look like it. It's the collars kind of work. The patterns are starting to line around. And once all the dirt's out of the way, it might actually start looking like something other than a mound, a pile of dirt. So yeah, we got most of the way around. I finally get the dirt filled in the whole way around so I can get this pattern laid out. We'll get all the concrete done. I should be able to get the shell of this done off camera over the weekend. And we can get into it. So next week should be interiors. And the next project for me back at my main base is I want to add a new island. I'm sick of smelting and making things like glass one stack at a time, one furnace at a time. So I want to make a big super smelter. Don't really have a fuel source for it yet, but I want to get the super smelter, and I'll probably do like another themed island. I think that should be cool. So we'll get that nether theme island, and I meant to get some end stone too to finish off my my iron island. So yeah, that should give me some weekend work. Get this buttoned up and 2 islands done. I'm starting to get a laundry list of backstock things I need to get finished up. I've been taking on too many things and not getting enough done. So we gotta start getting some things finished. But until next week, get some more progress done.